Have you ever noticed something strange that happens around 2 in the morning? You wake up, barely able to move, and somehow your dog is taking up most of the bed, even though they have their own comfortable bed, even though the couch is completely empty. Your dog still insists on squeezing right next to you. Most people assume it's simple. Maybe they just want warmth, maybe they're clingy, or maybe they just enjoy being close to their favorite human. But behavioral science and neuroscience suggest something much deeper is happening. When your dog chooses to sleep beside you, it isn't just a cute habit. It's actually a powerful signal about trust, emotional bonding, and thousands of years of shared evolution between humans and dogs. In fact, this small nighttime behavior may reveal one of the most complex psychological relationships between two different species on Earth. So tonight we're going to decode what your four-legged friend might actually be telling you every time they choose to sleep right beside you. 1. Vulnerability and survival instinct. To understand why your dog chooses to sleep next to you, we have to start with a simple truth about the natural world. For almost every animal on Earth, sleep is the most vulnerable state they can enter. When an animal sleeps, its senses become weaker. Reaction times slow down, and its ability to defend itself drops dramatically. In the wild, this moment of vulnerability can mean the difference between survival and death. Because of this, the ancestors of modern dogs, wolves, developed strong instincts about where and how they sleep. They would choose locations that were hidden, protected, and difficult for predators to reach. Places where danger could be detected early. These survival instincts are still deeply wired into the brain of every dog today, which makes one behavior particularly interesting. Instead of choosing a quiet corner of the house, instead of retreating to their own bed, your dog climbs onto the bed and sleeps next to you. From a behavioral science perspective, this isn't clinginess, it's a declaration of trust. By sleeping beside you, your dog is essentially saying, "You are the safest place in my world." But this level of trust doesn't just come from habit. It comes from a psychological bond that scientists have only recently begun to fully understand. And surprisingly, that bond looks remarkably similar to the one between a human parent and a child. 2. The attachment bond. To understand this bond, scientists turn to a famous psychological experiment known as the Strange Situation Test. Originally, this test was designed to study the emotional attachment between human infants and their mothers. Researchers place a baby in an unfamiliar room. The parent leaves the room for a short time, then the parent returns. What scientists observe is how the child reacts to separation and reunion. Now, here's the fascinating part. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University decided to run a similar experiment with dogs. In the study, a dog was placed in a room with its owner. Then the owner briefly left the room before returning. The scientists carefully observed the dog's behavior during both moments. The results were remarkable. A large majority of dogs displayed what psychologists call secure attachment, the same pattern commonly observed in human children. When the owner left, the dog showed signs of mild stress. But when the owner returned, they immediately sought proximity and comfort. This suggests that, psychologically speaking, many dogs relate to their owners in a way that closely resembles a child's attachment to a caregiver. So when your dog presses against you while sleeping, or rests a paw across your arm, it's not just physical comfort. It's a deep psychological need for presence, reassurance, and emotional security. But the story becomes even more fascinating when we look inside the brain. Because behind this emotional bond lies a powerful chemical system, one that literally strengthens the connection between you and your dog. 3. The oxytocin loop. Inside the brain, there is a chemical that plays a central role in emotional bonding. It's called oxytocin. Oxytocin is often known as the bonding hormone. In humans, it is released during moments of trust, affection, and emotional closeness. For example, when a mother holds her newborn child, or when two people share a meaningful embrace. But something remarkable happens in the relationship between humans and dogs. Studies have shown that when a dog and its owner look into each other's eyes, both brains release oxytocin at the same time. This creates what scientists call an oxytocin feedback loop. Your brain releases oxytocin, strengthening your emotional connection to the dog. At the same time, your dog's brain releases oxytocin, strengthening its attachment to you. Physical contact makes this bond even stronger. Petting your dog, sitting close together, or sleeping beside each other can amplify this chemical connection. What makes this even more fascinating is that this system appears to be unique to dogs. Even wolves raised by humans from birth do not trigger the same response, which suggests that over the past 15,000 years, dogs and humans have evolved a special biological partnership. And every time your dog curls up beside you at night, that ancient bond is quietly being reinforced. But chemistry inside the brain is only part of the story. Because when humans and dogs rest together for long periods of time, their nervous systems can begin to synchronize. 4. Co-regulation, when two nervous systems sync. But the connection between you and your dog goes even deeper than hormones. Researchers studying heart rate variability, often called HRV, have discovered something remarkable. When two living beings spend long periods of time resting close to each other, their nervous systems can begin to influence one another. Scientists call this process co-regulation. In simple terms, it means two nervous systems start adjusting to each other. If one becomes calmer, the other often follows. Studies suggest that when dogs rest beside their owners, their physiological signals, like heart rhythm and breathing patterns, can gradually become more stable and synchronized. Your dog isn't just lying next to you, its nervous system is quietly responding to yours. If you are calm and relaxed, your dog's body begins to mirror that state. This is why many dogs appear to sleep more deeply when they are close to their owners. In those quiet moments of rest, two completely different species are doing something extraordinary. Their bodies are helping each other settle into a deeper state of safety and relaxation. But this leads to a strange paradox. Because scientifically speaking, sleeping with a dog doesn't always improve your physical sleep quality. And yet, many dog owners say they actually feel more rested when their pet sleeps nearby. 5. The sleep paradox. Here's where things become a little surprising. From a purely scientific perspective, sleeping with a dog can sometimes reduce certain aspects of sleep quality. Dogs move during the night. They change positions, stretch, and occasionally wake up. These small movements can cause brief sleep interruptions for their owners. In sleep studies, researchers have found that people who share a bed with their pets may experience slightly more nighttime disturbances. But here's the paradox. Even with these interruptions, many dog owners report feeling more emotionally satisfied and more secure when their dog sleeps nearby. In other words, the emotional comfort seems to outweigh the small physical disruptions. The sense of companionship, warmth, and safety can make the entire sleep experience feel better. So while the body may experience minor disturbances, the mind often rests easier. And when you look at everything together, the trust, the hormones, and the shared calm between two nervous systems, it reveals something much deeper about the bond between humans and dogs. Why your dog chooses to sleep next to you. So, when your dog chooses to sleep next to you, it isn't random. It's the result of thousands of years of trust, evolution, and emotional connection between two species. To your dog, sleeping beside you means safety. It means belonging, and most importantly, it means you are part of their pack. In a world that can sometimes feel uncertain, that quiet moment, when your dog curls up beside you, may be one of the purest forms of companionship we experience. If you found this insight interesting, consider subscribing for more videos that explore the fascinating science behind the bond between humans and animals. Because sometimes the smallest everyday moments reveal the deepest connections.